Today marks the 10th anniversary to Call of Duty Black Ops. The game was released on November 9th, 2010. The year was 2011 when I first got this game. My cousins persuaded me to get a PS3 with this game. I used to play this game a lot with my cousins online. My dad would play split-screen multiplayer with me. My friends would play this game with me. My older and younger sisters, despite not giving a shit over this game, would also play this game with their friends from time to time. What I'm trying to say is, I had a lot of fond memories playing this game. The year is now 2020, and the game is pretty much an old piece of history, with Black Ops Cold War coming out. Is it still worth going back to playing? Well, you clicked on this video, and you're currently watching it, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. So let's get into it, shall we? To start this review off, let's begin with the visualization. World at War, the game before Black Ops 1, had a dark tone. Everything in that game was dark and depressing to look at. The music in that game was most of the time very unsettling, or in my opinion, emotional to hear, especially the menu music. The game was also one of the most violent Call of Duty games to date, giving players the ability to dismember enemies. It was so gory that Japan banned it because of the violence against Japanese soldiers in that game. They would later lift the ban. In Black Ops 1, the visualization has changed to not as depressing as World at War. The colors are brighter, and the violence has been toned down a bit, so it's not as gory as World at War. The only time there is a lot of gore in this game is the Zombies game mode, but we'll get to that later. The soundtrack went from depressing and unsettling to over-the-top action music, though there are a few moments where the soundtrack does get a bit unsettling. What I also like about the visualization is how Treyarch took a lot of notes from Modern Warfare 2 and improved them for Black Ops, such as POV animations used in the campaign, as there weren't a lot of animations for them in World at War, or dual-wielding weapons. Another thing I like is the UI. It's different from World at War. Instead of having dashes indicating how much ammo you have left, it's a good old counter number. The models, textures, and animations have improved, especially the models and textures on the character models. There's a lot more detail on the skin and on the clothing at the time of its release. The sound effects are also good. Every time you step on a specific terrain, a sound effect will play corresponding to that terrain. And gun sound effects are also great to listen to. About every gun has a firing sound effect that makes it unique. You can also easily break glass, similar to Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, that's a thing. As for negative aspects, I can't find anything negative about the visualization aside from just a few areas lacking in color, but that's just probably me. Right, let's move on to the campaign. The campaign for Black Ops is different compared to many of the Call of Duty games' campaign. The story for the campaign is about a CIA agent named Alex Mason, played by Sam Worthington, who is being interrogated by two unknown silhouettes as they're trying to figure out the numbers in Alex Mason's head. The levels of the campaign are based on memories of two playable characters, and 3 if you count Nova 6's level. Seeing that Black Ops is the sequel to World at War, few characters from World at War return. Viktor Reznov, played by award-winning actor Gary Oldman, and Dmitry Petrenko, played by Boris Kaivsky? How do you pronounce that name? The game also introduces us to new characters such as Grigory Weaver, played by Gene Farber, Joseph Bowman, played by Ice Cube, and the fan favorite, Frank Woods, played by James C. Burns. Update, I forgot to add in Jason Hudson in there. He's played by Ed Harris. Yeah, that's all. The writing for all of these characters I mentioned are really good, especially with Gary Oldman's character, Viktor Reznov. His dialogue gets better compared to his World at War counterpart. The other actors do a great job with their roles as well. It feels like they're comfortable with their roles and enjoying voice acting the characters they were given. However, the cutscenes between Alex Mason and the interrogators are really stupid, but at the same time, really hilarious. Especially when one of the interrogators is expressing their anger with their body movement, which I liked.
Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, they all had to die.
We wanted Steiner alive! Why did you have to kill him?
Because the numbers were telling me to! Why don't you fucking understand?
Forget Reznov! Focus, Mason! We're out of fucking time! The world is on the fucking brink of war!
Whose war? Who the fuck are you anyway?
Unlike World at War, Black Ops 1 also gives us a main antagonist, that being Nikita Dragovich, played by Eamon Hunt, and a secondary antagonist, Lev Kravchenko, which Oh shit, I forgot to put who he was played by. Compared to the other characters I mentioned in this game, they're not that well written in my opinion. They're basically your typical Russian villains that are just sociopaths. What more do you want? Black Ops' campaign also has exclusive weapons that can only be acquired from this game mode, such as the KS-23 shotgun, the Model 1887, SPAS-12 with Dragon Breath rounds, as well as World War II weapons such as the Sten, PPSH, Mosin Nagant, and Panzerschreck. Though I really wish the KS-23 shotgun was usable in multiplayer, or Zombies game mode. I mean, the weapon keeps appearing in a lot of levels, why not just make it a multiplayer or at least a Zombies weapon? A lot of the levels are fun to play and replay, my favorite being Vorkuta. It's such a great level mainly because of the amount of mayhem you and hundreds of Russian prisoners are causing in what Alex Mason describes as a hellhole. We also get to hear Reznov share his unbridled hatred towards the Russian government and Vorkuta itself, and the music in that level is really good. Speaking of Reznov, after Alex Mason left Vorkuta, he returns in a campaign level, but later revealed as a hallucination in Alex Mason's head. It gets really good as the plot thickens throughout the game, and later in the game, the plot pulls a twist and reveals that Reznov did not survive Vorkuta. It's also worth mentioning that the campaign is really over the top. There's a lot of explosions. It gives players the feeling that they're in an action-packed movie. In my personal opinion, it gets old at times. It only makes it feel like I'm in a Michael Bay movie. Like, why are there so many explosions in this game? I will be honest though, the explosions are sometimes unintentionally funny. As I mentioned before, we also get to see POV arm animations being used quite a lot in this game. So that's cool, as it helps express the playable character and how they're feeling. The campaign also had playable characters speaking, whereas World at War had silent protagonists. Modern Warfare 3 kinda, and Black Ops 2 would later use this feature for their games. Just like World at War, you get to pilot in vehicles, whether it be firing an MG on the back of a truck, commanding Hudson and his team with an SR-71 Blackbird, piloting a helicopter with Frank Woods, etc. The ending in this game is very good too. It doesn't feel like sequel bait like in the other Call of Duty games. It's your typical ending to an action movie. Americans win, Russians lose because they're bad guys. I mean, what else do you want in a Call of Duty game? So overall, the campaign was really over the top. There was suspense, Vietnam flashbacks, numbers that needed to be solved. It doesn't take itself way too seriously. Only problem is that due to the fact that it's a sequel to World at War, it feels out of place and awkward because World at War was supposed to be a serious game, and putting this out of place game into it just ruins the tone that World at War was going with. But regardless, there is a lot of fun to be had with this campaign, as the characters are well written. Now that I finished the campaign segment, let's move on to multiplayer. Multiplayer in Black Ops at the time of its release was a big deal. Everyone wouldn't stop playing it, whether it would be on Xbox 360, PS3, or PC, or the Wii. As for me personally, I wasn't interested in multiplayer mainly because everyone in that game was going to kick my ass. Now, you could easily tell me just to get good at the game, but everyone's still going to kick my ass regardless. What do you want from me? Instead, I'll be sharing you aspects of multiplayer itself using combat training, which is basically fighting CPU players. It's useful for players who are novices or for people who just want to kick back, relax, and waste time mindlessly killing bots. Wish there was a combat training for Battlefield 1 and in Splatoon 2. So, when you start multiplayer, you won't be able to customize anything until you reach a specific level. In order to do that, you gotta kill enemy players, use your kill streaks that you start off with, or complete challenges. Each time you level up or get experience points, you get COD points that you can use to spend on attachments, weapons, perks, kill streaks, or face paint. That's cute. The only problem I have with this system is that a lot of the unlockables cost so much COD points, thus leading to grinding, and that can be really annoying at sometimes. Another problem I have with this system is that you have to reach a specific level in order to unlock weapons or perks. Why can't it just be separate, like have weapons and perks be unlocked by leveling up while the attachments and killstreaks and cosmetics be unlocked by spending COD points? Aside from that, the weapons and killstreaks are really fun to use. You can use a crossbow to shoot explosive tip arrows at enemies, use a remote control toy to blow up dudes, fire remote control rockets, use care packages to get kill streaks and rare ones like a death machine and Grim Reaper, fire dual-wield revolvers, use an M16 like as if you're Rambo or Weird Al, play as a chopper gunner and mow down enemies, play around with other cool guns like the FAMAS or Galil. The game modes in multiplayer are very interesting and would later be in other Call of Duty titles. The most notable is Gun Game. The more kills you get, the more different weapons you'll receive. Get knifed by an enemy player and you'll start receiving previous guns.
Oh my god!
The map settings are very nice as well. The maps you play either take place in the campaign levels or are just for the fun of it. The one map, however, that takes the icing on the cake of best map design is gotta be Nuketown. This map is a special map to me, mainly because it was inspired by the scene from the 4th Indiana Jones movie, which is a review for another day. The reason why Nuketown is such a good map in my opinion is because it was originally an unofficial map for level designer Adam Hogat, who made it in 2 days. And everyone at Treyarch really loved it. That's not all, the setting of the map makes sense as it takes place in the 50s, which the 4th Indiana Jones movie took place. And the villains in that movie were typical Russian bad guys, just like in Black Ops 1 campaign. The map would get a remake for Black Ops 2, 3, and... wait, that's Nuketown? As well as having a Nuketown Zombies map in Black Ops 2. The DLC maps are also fun in terms of settings. You have a stadium, an abandoned Soviet zoo, an abandoned diner, and the Berlin Wall. The best part about the Berlin Wall is it has dangerous areas where you can die from there, just like the actual Berlin Wall. Finally, no loot boxes or microtransactions. Wanted to put that in there just to remind everyone that this is an actual Call of Duty game. The one that people mindlessly hate. Overall, multiplayer is a classic gem in Black Ops, always has been. If the COD point system was fixed up a bit, I'm sure it would have been even better than before. But hey, what can you do? So now that I talked about visuals, campaign, and multiplayer, let's talk about the most fun I had with Black Ops. Zombies. Black Ops Zombies was the successor to World at War's Nazi Zombies. Everything from that game has been improved a lot. The zombie hit detections are really good, the quick revive perk does something in single player, the maps are really fun to play, well, kinda. Some of the pack-a-punch guns are really fun to use, such as the crossbow or Spas 12. Each map has new enemy types to deal with, new wonder weapons to play around with, songs to play, settings it takes place, Easter eggs to give it some kind of story, and ending it with a big bang. Or, that's what we assumed. Let's start off with Kino de Toten. It's a very simple map that takes place in an abandoned cinema. The map to me has that feeling that it was inspired by the Quentin Tarantino movie Inglourious Basterds. And it could be, as Inglourious Basterds was released in 2009, while the game was released in 2010. The map also gives us a new wonder weapon, the Thunder Gun. This is basically what happens when a BFG from Doom and the Force Gun from Dead Space have a child. This weapon is so much fun to use. Any player regardless of skill can use it, they won't get splash damage. It's such a godlike weapon and I love it. I love the design, the loud firing sound effect it makes, the orange glow effects, the wind particles, the ability to blow away zombies. It's such a cool weapon. The map also has a teleporter you can use to pack-a-punch weapons, a flame trap, shock trap, and turret traps. The map introduces Nova Crawlers, zombies that if used a bullet-based weapon, can make them explode. The creature design for the Nova Crawlers are really unsettling. Those creepy mouth faces is what really creeps me out. Original characters from Derice also make a return, and they have a lot of corny dialogue to go with it. The map also has an Easter egg song, 115, composed by Kevin Sherwood and sang by Elena Siegeman, a classic song to listen to. Included on disc is 5 and Dead Up's Arcade. 5 is a secret zombie map that you can unlock after beating the campaign level. What makes this map interesting is that it takes place in the Pentagon, and you play as famous historical figures, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, Robert McNamara, and fucking Fidel Castro. Like, holy shit, dude. However, the problem with this map is the special enemy type, being the Pentagon Thief and the wonder weapon, the Winter's Howl. The Pentagon Thief is a bullet sponge that steals your gun you're holding, while the Winter's Howl is a very weak weapon compared to the other wonder weapons. I'm sure that veteran players will have an enjoyment playing this, but for casual players like myself, Oh yeah, you can also listen to Won't Back Down by Eminem, how do you pronounce? Great song to listen to while playing this map. Dead Ups Arcade is an arcade-like top-down twin-stick shooter. Really fun to waste time, and it also has nice 8-bit music tracks to go with it. Now let's move on to the DLC maps, starting with Ascension. Taking place in a Russian spaceport, the map features 2 new perks, that being PhD Flopper and Stamina Up, which both of them are really useful perks. PhD prevents you from taking splash damage, and when you dive to prone, would create an explosion, while Stamina Up increases sprinting endurance. The Thunder Gun from Kino returns to this map, and we also have 2 new grenade wonder weapons. The Gersh device, a device used to generate a black hole that can suck zombies, and the second being the Matryoshka dolls, a weird cluster bomb of some kind that looks like Russian dolls. The map's special enemy types are space monkeys, and just like real monkeys, they are really hard to fight in single player. What they do is take away any perk by going to the perk machine you bought them from. They are hard to get rid of as you have to trek across the map to find them. The map also features lunar landers. These can be used to escape from large crowds of zombies. The map's Easter egg is called Abra, Macabre, a really edgy song in my opinion. The next map was Call of the Dead. It's basically a love letter to zombie movie pioneer George Romero. Rather than playing as original characters from Kino or Ascension, you play as famous celebrities such as Sarah Michelle Gellar, Michael Rooker, Robert Englund, and Danny Trejo. You also fight George Romero in this map as he became a zombie, and honestly, while I find his health to be super annoying, the one aspect I love about George Romero is his performance. He has a lot of really funny lines, and I can't help but listen to them. Also, his screaming is really funny. I get a few chuckles from hearing his screaming. Just listen. The wonder weapons in this map are very interesting. The Scavenger is a sniper rifle that shoots flechettes that can create big explosions, while the VR-11 turns zombies into humans. If you pack-a-punch it and use it 3 times on a zombie, it will make a misty red explosion. Not useful in single player, but very powerful in multiplayer as you can give other players invincibility and insta-kill when shot at. The map introduces a new perk, that being Deadshot Decoy, a useful perk that can help with aiming your weapon. In PC, it increases hipfire. Easter egg for this map is Not Ready to Die by Avenged Sevenfold. Shangri-La would be next. Taking place in a temple in the Himalayas, this map includes a shrink ray wonder weapon that you can use to make zombie babies that you can fucking kick, and 3 new zombie types, the napalm zombies, the shrieker zombies, and the monkey zombies, all of which give this map's challenge. You can use a minecart and water slide to escape hordes. Perk locations change every time you play this map, similar to Shinonuma. The map's Easter egg is Prelidoria, I don't know how to pronounce that, composed by Kevin Sherwood and sung by Elena Siegeman. Finally, we have the Resurrection DLC maps. What makes this final DLC so unique is that it's remasters of World at War zombie maps, and the new map included, that being Moon. Let's first talk about the World at War maps. A lot has changed. The Quick Revive perk now has a use in single player. Mystery box weapons are Black Ops 1 weapons instead of World at War weapons, though the wall buys from World at War return. Stillhand Grenades replace frag grenades as well. Noct has the Thunder Gun in the box, while Verrucht has the Winter's Howl. It's visually colorful than it was in World at War. And Noct has an Easter egg song if you blow up the barrels. That song being called Undone, composed by Kevin Sherwood. And I really love this song. It's so good. So now we can talk about Moon. So Moon is the final DLC map of Black Ops 1 Zombies, probably the best out of them all. Usually all zombie maps begin with a round 1, right? Well, this one begins with a timed round. You start out in Area 51, the gates to the teleporter begin to open, then suddenly a loud alarm goes off, causing zombies to go apeshit. You can go to the teleporter, but if you stay, then good luck to you, bro.
Oh, Jesus! Ah, fuck!
So, what you get in Moon is a lot of stuff. Gravity has changed drastically on the moon. You have to wear oxygen masks or else you will die in space, which is pretty fucking stupid since the vacuum of space will just kill you in an instant. Oh yeah, also, like, guns in space? No, that can't work. That's not how guns work, no. The map introduces two new wonder weapons, one being called the Quantum Entanglement Device, and the other called the Wave Gun / Zap Gun. The Quantum Entanglement Device is a tactical grenade that when deployed can do a lot of random things, such as turn into a turret, spawn a power-up that only zombies can have, etc. While the Wave Gun is a different story. This wonder weapon starts off as dual-wield zap guns, but if you press the grenade launcher attachment, you get the Wave Gun. The zap guns are basically mini Wonder Wafts, instantly killing zombies, while the Wave Gun can make zombies inflate, fly in midair, and then explode into a red mist while playing a ding noise you would get from a microwave. Then there's the new enemy types, the Cosmonaut Zombie and the Phasing Zombies. The Cosmonaut Zombie is a zombie in an astronaut suit. If you get close to him, he will grab you then headbutt you while you teleport and lose a perk. While the Phasing Zombies are just Nova Crawlers, but they can teleport. These two zombies are really annoying special enemy types. Actually, who am I kidding? All of the special zombies are annoying enemy types. Except George Romero, which I can completely ignore. Then there's also the Hacker. It's a piece of equipment. It takes up your oxygen mask slot. It has a lot of uses. You can use it to buy doors for less than money, or repair barricades quickly, change power-ups to a different power-up, respin the box, etc. The map's game over music has no music playing. Every map has an upcoming song to play over to hint the next map. For this one, there is no music playing. Back in the day, it had me thinking that this was the final Zombies map. Speaking of music, the map includes the Easter egg song Coming Home, and say it with me, it was sung by Elena Siegeman and written by Kevin Sherwood. The map also has 3 8-bit remixes of Damned, Paralidolia, and Coming Home. It's pretty neat. Lastly, the map introduces Mule Kick, a perk that lets you hold 3 guns instead of 1. What makes this perk unique is that it was added on not only Moon, but in all of the other zombie maps. It also had a jingle that never played on any of the maps. Well, that's all I have to say about the maps. I would bring up the Easter eggs in each of them, but I felt like I would take too much of your time, and I don't want to waste time doing Easter eggs just for a video. But yeah, each map is very fun, kinda. Adds a lot of challenges in some areas, has a lot of wonder weapons to play around with, and Easter eggs to solve. Now, let's move on to the conclusion of Call of Duty Black Ops, shall we? Overall, Call of Duty Black Ops is a game worth remembering about. Whether it be the campaign being an over-the-top action movie-like experience, multiplayer being casual gamers' personal hell, or zombies being a crazy carnage mayhem. Call of Duty Black Ops is a game that I suggest going back to, especially since there's a lot of fun mods to play around with on zombies. I give Call of Duty Black Ops 8 blue studs, a game worth going back to if you're the kind of person who wishes the old days of Call of Duty. Though the games have gotten a little bit better, and Cold War seems to look good, so hopefully there is hope? Or maybe they'll turn it into a fucking casino like they do with most of their games nowadays. So that was my review on Call of Duty Black Ops. I want to say thank you for those that gave support to my World at War review I made almost 2 years ago. I assumed that my World at War review was going to be dead on arrival, but with time passing by, I got a lot of attention on the World at War Steam community, and seeing that it's the most liked video I made on Steam, I feel like there's hope for me. I received a lot of comments such as positive feedback, constructive criticism, and comments about my Bionicle persona. I may not be the big famous YouTubers who review this stuff, but I want to share my thoughts and opinions on games, TV shows, or movies. Well, that's all I have to say. What do you think of this video I made? Did you like it? Thought I went too long with it? Or did you disagree with what I had to say? Share me feedback on it. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like on it. If you want to see similar content like this, be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.